Public Prosecutions. The police continued to be in occupation of these premises illegally. That was an act of trespass because under our law there is no legal justification for the police to enter anybody's private residence or property without the sanction of the law or without appropriate orders from the court. And yesterday we got an order which required of the police to vacate these premises, which they didn't, despite the fact that the orders were served, and I posted the orders at the gate of these premises. The police continue to be in illegal occupation of these premises up until early this morning. The Prime Minister, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, was here to visit and find out for himself what was happening to his friend. And when he came in here, I followed a little later, and I was not allowed to enter these premises, although I was on record as a lawyer for Mr. and Mrs. Wanjigi. The Prime Minister had an exchange with the police and again read through these orders to the police officers, and they would not obey these court orders. I know yesterday, because I had a policeman talking to the Inspector General, where the Inspector General actually acknowledged that he had received these orders, but he directed the officer who was in charge of these operations not to obey the orders until contrary orders had been issued by the police. So we have now a dysfunctional state, and it starts right from the way the elections were held, how the orders of the Supreme Court were disobeyed. You remember during the election petitions, there were interlocutory orders that were given to the police, to the commission. Those orders were not obeyed. You have heard how judges are being called names, and one then would not wonder why police officers would choose to disobey valid court orders. So as we speak now, we have taken instructions together with my colleague here, Mr. Otienda Molo, and other lawyers who are here, to proceed with speed to file proceedings against the Inspector General and the Director of Public Prosecutions for contempt of court. And it's not just contempt of court. A lot of damage has been done in this building. A lot of it actually, courtesy the media, the public was able to see that the policemen can come like a rogue militia, armed with axes, machetes, and other crude instruments and weapons, and to begin to destroy somebody's property without a court order. That happens only in a rogue state, in a banana republic. Now, Mr. Wanjigi and Mrs. Wanjigi are here. Mrs. Wanjigi's wife, Irene, I want to thank you, because throughout this, she was very calm. Honorable Maina Wanjigi was here, and I think, Jimmy, you should be very proud of your father, because despite the show of force when I was here, he was calm. But I think he had a similar experience like this at one time. So he knew exactly how to react to this kind of behavior from the state. Mr. Wanjigi, you see, is here, is calm. Yesterday, I told the court that whenever they would require me to take Mr. Wanjigi before the court, so long as the court would give guarantees that he would not be molested, including yesterday. I even offered that we will be able to make him available even today. But the court said there's no hurry. having presented the case, we can appear in court tomorrow. And there was no requirement for him to appear in court tomorrow. And the judge was satisfied on the basis of the material that we offered before the court that Mr. Wanjigi needs protection. And that protection should come from the state. And the state itself is not complying with those orders of court that require him to be given protection. So I want to end here and give an opportunity to Mr. Wanjigi to say one or two words. But I can assure you and members of the media who are here, we are dealing with a rogue state. A rogue state where even junior police officers, because you know the law of the land, the constitution, now requires that any officer of the state should not be had to be saying that I am receiving orders from above or from a superior authority. We have gone past that legal regime. That what the officers should have done yesterday was to receive this order and then consult their superiors and inform them they have no alternative but to obey the court orders. And the court gave us these orders in many, many copies, in the original, with the seal of the High Court, signed by a registrar of the High Court, and with the name of the judge who issued these orders. Still, the police would not obey these orders of the court. So I want to end here, there, and invite Mr. Wanjigi